You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal. I'm sitting here with Jeff and Ken. How are you both?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Matt, how are you over in LA?
I'm doing great. I'm really glad that I'm over Skype because I tried to talk all over your intro.
But no one would know because only I can hear you in my ear, and right now you are cursing me out.
The magic of editing.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore it. Jeff, I had a funny little story the other day. I went to mail some of our posters to a couple of patrons, a couple of Savage Superstars on Patreon. And I went to the post office, and I put the posters on the scale, and the post office employee said, "How's Jeff?" And I went, "What?" And he goes, how's Jeff in the business, the podcast? And I said, "Oh, are you a listener?" And he's like, "No, I used to see Jeff in here all the time."
You're just like hanging out in there, Jeff?
And
what's the deal?
It really threw me for a loop because I was like, wait a minute, do I say I know Jeff or no?
I try and make friends wherever I go.
Jeff comes into the post office with like Dunkin' Munchkins and a thing of coffee, a box of Joe, whatever they call it.
And if it was Boston, he'd be like, "Where are my donkeys?"
He doesn't drink, so that's like his cheers when he walks in. So,
yeah.
Jeff.
I'm in the post office. It's my cheers.
So shout out to...
Jeff is so boring.
Shout out to that employee if you listen to the show. I mean, I told you, listen to the show.
He said he doesn't.
He probably doesn't. But thank you for your support. But we have two special guests here today who do know Jeff, at least a little bit here at the beginning of the show. Our first person is a contestant on today's show. She is a pretty accomplished musician, a really cool band that we're fans of, and I'll let her talk about that. But she's coming to us from Los Angeles, and that is an Oakland 5 supporter on Patron, Sara Gregory. How's it going, Sara?
Hello, I'm great. I live in Los Angeles area. I work in an office, and I have a band, and I have a dog, and she's sitting behind me enjoying the podcast. So.
Always love when we have furry friends who listen to the show. What is the name of your band?
Entry.
Entry. And I believe Ken will play a little snippet.
Yeah, I think when we break for the swing round, I'll throw in a little song. It's some hardcore punk, I believe, would be the best genre to call it, right? It's a little bit of a mix, though.
I would go with that.
It's a little bit metally, a little bit of punk. It's great.
We might need it. I mean, our track record of losing is pretty long, so maybe we need it to pump ourselves up.
Yeah, we'll use it as motivational music.
That sounds good.
Like a training montage.
Exactly. And speaking of training montages, our host today is actually coming to us from Pennsylvania, just like Rocky, so he probably knows a thing or two about training montages and punching frozen meat. And he is a Not a Robot supporter on Patreon, and that is Adam Holquist. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, which is the totally opposite corner from where Rocky is from. I'm an environmental engineer currently working in my basement, and I'm also a musician. I do a lot of electronic music and other stuff, and I host a lot of streaming shows here from my basement, and happy to be here on the show. Think I've got a fun game for you guys.
Very cool. Where can we find your music as well?
My solo project, which is probably the best one to start with, is called One Wayness. It's ONEWAYNESS, onewayness.com. Has links to all the stuff.
Very cool.
We might have to play some of Adam's music at another portion of the show, so that way we get...
we'll balance it out.
Yeah, get the balance. Well, thank you for joining us, Adam, for writing this game, and for both of you for being Patreon supporters. Ken, we already mentioned earlier, we're going to be a team today, and since we don't have a band like our guests, why don't we just be solo act?
Yeah, I've been trying to put a band together for like 10 years, but nobody wants to be in a band with me. It's sad.
Well, let's put some open auditions. So if anyone wants to audition for Ken's band, just
preferably in the greater Chicagoland area.
Either Chicago or very, very far, like Iceland or something. Yeah. Because then it'll be cool.
Yeah,
it's like
just move to Iceland.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That sounds good. Matt, I think you're going to partner with Sarah. Any ideas on a team name over there?
I think we're just going to go with the band name. Entry.
Team Entry.
Awesome. Well, let's throw
Mysterious. I like it.
Well, let's throw it to our rules guy who is going to do his best scream and see how it goes.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
I am the cream, the cream of the crop.
What do you think of that technique, Sarah? Do you think he was doing that properly, or is he going to get some nodes on his vocal cords?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I'd like a little lesson from Sarah after the podcast as to how to scream without getting the damage.
I would like not even just for singing music, but just to scream in your pillow because of the depressive state of the world. So
I do it every night.
Yeah. All right,
but
Jeff.
if you're doing it properly, you could be causing damage.
Yeah,
that's true. Very true. Jeff, you're going to be hanging out, keeping score.
Yep.
At least the math will be right for once, so thank you. Adam, feel free to take it away. We're ready to play.
All right, sounds good. Round 1, question number 1. In the standard American edition of the game Monopoly, what is the third and highest valued of the group of yellow properties along with Atlantic Avenue and Ventnor Avenue?
I don't do Monopoly. I really haven't played Monopoly in years, so
I don't.
You don't either, right?
I'm a big. I was gonna say I'm a big non-fan, but I was gonna say I just don't like Monopoly. I'm not good at it. So
as the third yellow property, let's say 300.
Okay.
300, Drew.
We are looking for a name.
Oh, then we're in trouble. 300 Avenue.
I got one.
All right. Neil's got one. We're locked in.
Okay.
Oh, boy. How much Monopoly do you play? A lot?
I believe I know this answer.
Okay. What do you think it is?
Marvin Gardens.
That is great, and it's one of my favorite Drake songs. We're going to go with Marvin Garden.
Wow. I didn't even know there was a space called Marvin Gardens. I think there's one called St. James Place, so that's all I locked in with.
There is one called St. James Place, but the correct answer is Marvin Gardens.
Nice job, Sarah.
A lot of Monopoly currently.
Well, I can't feel bad about that one. We're never getting there.
I sort of had to stop playing Monopoly because it turns out I was a huge to most of my family.
That has to do with Monopoly?
Turns out. No one's surprised by that, Jeff.
Well, it sort of gives you permission. Like, if you just do it just like around the dinner table, then it's like, he's a jerk. But if you do it while playing Monopoly, it's like you're just a cutthroat Monopoly player.
Let's introduce capitalism to the family dynamic.
I'm your landlord, Mom.
That's what all family dynamics need, is more capitalism. So question number 2. In her 1983 book, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, what novelist, poet, and activist coined the term womanist to refer to a feminist of color?
My best guess would be like Toni Morrison.
Okay, and that would be better than my best guess of nobody because I haven't read a book in a long time, unfortunately.
Likewise, Goosebumps. I'm probably getting answer about those.
I don't believe R.L. Stein coined womanism, but it's possible.
Toni Morrison's Goosebumps.
Toni Morrison, right? That's what he said?
Yeah,
Is that a name I made up? Okay, we're locked in.
No, she's very beloved.
We went with Maya Angelou. We were wondering if she was a novelist, and I believe she wrote I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which I believe is a novel. So I think we went with Maya Angelou.
Well, you were both headed down the right track. The correct answer that we're looking for here is Alice Walker.
Mm-hmm. Color purple, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So question number 3. Garrett Walker, Elizabeth Keene, and David Palmer are all fictional television characters with what specific profession?
We can lock in over here.
I wonder which one. Do you know this one, Sarah?
No, they sound familiar, and
David Palmer was the president on 24, which is why I know Neal knew that right away. So we can lock in with president.
Perfect.
Yep, one of my favorite fictional presidents, played by Dennis Haysbert on 24. We also locked in with president.
And that is correct. They are all fictional U.S. presidents. As you said, David Palmer is Dennis Haysbert's character on 24. Garrett Walker, Michael Gill's character on House of Cards, and Elizabeth Keene is played by Elizabeth Marvel on the series Homeland.
Nice. Now, I noticed there's a little carryover in that question. Are you doing a stream of consciousness question writing style here?
I am doing a stream of consciousness thing. You see what I did there.
Yeah.
So question number 4, what real U.S. president was both the first president to be born after the American Revolution and the only president to speak English as a second language?
Elected.
I know I've heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably looking at a president in the 20s or 30s, right? That makes sense?
Yes. For some reason, I've studied presidents before, and I'm just blanking. Personally, I don't know why I had this in my head that maybe Franklin Pierce spoke another language, but I may be I am not sure. It could be anything.
I think that time frame works out because what was he, 9 or 10, somewhere
He
around
was
there?
14, I believe.
Well, that's fine too. Maybe the other ones were all old before.
I'm honestly not sure, but
I like it. We'll go with Franklin Pierce.
Okay.
And we are going with Martin Van Buren, who I believe spoke Dutch.
Yeah, I think so. And he also was the ringleader of the gang on Seinfeld.
The Van Buren boys.
Yeah.
Gotta look out.
Old Kinderhook.
Old Kinderhook did indeed speak Dutch. Correct answer is Martin Van Buren.
What was their sign? It was just the 8 fingers, right? It was just 8, 2 hands with 8.
I think so.
That is correct, yeah.
Question number 5. What is the name of the 4th book in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series? It follows A Storm of Swords and precedes the most recent book, A Dance with Dragons.
Okay, we are locked in. First of all, we think there's something seasonal going on here, and we can't remember if the book that he's working on right now it has to do with winter or spring, but we think it's spring, so we're going to go with Winds of Winter being our answer as a guess.
That would make sense if there was seasonal things in there. We could have gone with Summertime Sadness. Neither of us know, right? You don't know? No. So I went with what sounded like a book and also sounded like a mobile game. We said Clash of Kings.
Ooh.
Well, you both named books or future books from this series. Clash of Kings, I just had to look this up, is the 2nd book. Oh. And Winds of Winter is the forthcoming 6th book, which we're assured is coming real soon any day now. But the 4th book, the one we were looking for, the correct answer is A Feast for Crows.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that just a book completely comprised of people eating crow?
No. That's A Feast of Crows.
Oh, Feast of Crows. Oh.
No, this is 600 pages of pot pie recipes.
There you go.
Well, we're eating crow after that last answer, that's for sure.
Exactly. The audiobook of that is read by the lead singer of Counting Crows.
All right, and after 5, we are looking at a tie score, 20-20 for both teams.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Question 6. What is the vaguely autumnal title of Counting Crows' 1993 debut album, which contained the hit singles Mr. Jones and Round Here?
You got to know this one, Matt, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big Adam Duritz guy.
I can't remember. I think it's a season.
Well, he said autumnal, so maybe something fall, like falling into you or falling over my dreads or something.
No, I think it's the name of a month.
Oh, okay. So probably September, October then.
I can't remember. I think it's the name of a month plus something.
Until September.
Yeah, something like that.
October Surprise.
It's the name of my emo band.
Red October.
Wow, this is tough. Yeah, I'm not a big Counting Crows guy, so I don't know their work as well.
I don't mind your answer fall into you because I can't put this together.
Okay, fall into you. Yeah, that's fine.
Neal is close with September and October because it's August and everything after.
Yeah, I wasn't getting that. So
He was on the right track. Correct answer is indeed August and everything after.
Sarah, do you guys do any Counting Crows covers?
Might have to going forward.
I think that would be a great idea. I mean, this is probably something we'll cut, but I don't know if you know the band Between the Buried and Me.
I do.
Yes, we do.
Their name is a Counting Crows lyric reference. Like it's I forget what the song is, but it's there's some line in a Counting Crows song that's like something between the buried and me, and that's where they get their name from.
Man, a Between the Buried and Me reference on Triviality just warms my heart right now. Love it.
Yeah, Dan, their bass player, went to high school with my brother. He's from Erie.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Question 7. The name of what automaker is taken from a Latin translation of the name of its founder, August Horsch? The word Horsch is the German word for listen.
So what automaker was found by
August Horsch. No, I know.
August
August Horsch. We'll get the Dutch play version.
Okay, we're in.
What do you know about German cars? Oh, so not a lot.
Took Spanish instead of German. Regretting that now.
My initial thought was Audi because it says for listen, and I think
like audio,
like audible or something. I think that the root is the same in a lot of different languages. So I think, and I know it's a German car. Do you want to go with Audi?
That sounds great.
Okay, we are locked in with a lot of confidence with Audi.
That sounds really good, actually. We just said Horsch sounds like Porsche. So that's what we did.
That was my initial brain function.
Matt's logic was exactly right. Audi, like audio. Correct answer is Audi.
We're stupid.
We're going to take the 4 rings off an Audi and handcuff ourselves to the table now for punishment because
the 4 rings come from the fact that Audi was merged from 4 separate German automakers.
I thought the 4 rings represented the 4 times Jeff tells us he has an Audi every day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The 4 rings of hell.
I would ask if I'm really that bad, but I don't want to know.
No, you're not.
Hey, the post office guy knew you had an Audi. No, how's Jeff's Audi? Is it still running? No.
Question number 8. Audie Cornish, Ari Shapiro, Mary Louise Kelly, and Elisa Chang are the current hosts of what news program?
All right, we're in. We are in.
I think this might be the so you said the name sounded familiar. This might be the weekly like CBS show, like the Round Table kind of show. But I also can't remember what that's called. I know it's not Good Morning America or any of those kind of shows. Can you name any news programs outside of 60 Minutes? It's probably not 60 Minutes.
Well, it's not the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer.
Mad Money with Jim Cramer.
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, we're not good at this. I don't care. We'll lock in with Whose Line Is It Anyway because I like the show. We weren't getting there.
1,000 points to Matt and Sarah.
The points don't matter.
Ken and I were talking, at least from my perspective. I knew it wasn't. Well, I'll let you start actually because
these names really rang a bell, and I can picture myself hearing them on NPR radio. That's my usual station in the car when I'm not listening to a podcast or music, and I think it's All Things Considered. But,
yeah, and all things considered, I knew it wasn't NPR News because that's like Lakshmi Singh, Korva Coleman and stuff. But it seems like that could be the good answer. So
yeah, All Things Considered.
All Things Considered.
And Ken is exactly right. Correct answer is All Things Considered.
Nice poll.
I usually don't pay attention to the names of the shows that I'm actually listening to on NPR.
Well, a lot of them sound like they're fake names, like 2 things put together.
Yeah,
I knew Elisa Chang was also on Planet Money, but. Yeah, I forgot about All Things Considered.
Question 9. The All Thing, in existence since the year 930, is the world's oldest active parliament? The Althing is the parliament of what country?
Okay,
Is this the thing that Starscream tried to steal and
saw that one coming?
Yep.
Okay, Neil. I know this is either Sweden or Iceland because it makes sense that it's a Viking thing. And we had this question a while back, and it was between Sweden and Iceland then, and I couldn't pick one, and I got it wrong. But I can't remember which is which.
Right, and I think it's just a matter of which country do you think would have had a structured government earlier.
Yeah, and I've been to Sweden and Iceland, and I've been to museums in both, so I can't really remember which is, I can't separate it out in my head. So I think I might have said Sweden last time, and I was wrong, so let's go with Iceland this time.
Okay.
I hope.
And we had no idea. We had a really good discussion about Milwaukee Bucks MVPs, mythology, and Full House, and just locked in with Greece.
And
We had no idea.
Ken is correct that it is either Sweden or Iceland, and the correct answer is Iceland.
All right, good.
There you go.
I didn't do it twice.
Congrats.
I remember it being like really bad that I missed it last time. And I think the reason was because we just went to Iceland.
I have no recollection of any of that, so I'm just glad that at least you had an in, because I was with Matt and Sarah. I first said Greece, and I had no idea.
Question number 10, last question of the round. In 2020, Hildur Guðnadóttir became the first Icelander to win an Academy Award, winning the award for Best Original Score for her score for what film?
We can lock in over here.
Oh, geez. 2020, so it would be a 2019 movie, right? That's how that works?
Correct.
Usually. Okay. What did I see in 2019? Captain Marvel?
Yeah, we saw that together.
Yeah. Do you think this could be Parasite? Was that a 2019 movie? It won a lot of things, and it was foreign.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't watch movies until I was forced to.
Yeah, same here. Do you want to lock in with Parasite?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, I know a lot of people with this movie either love it or hate it, but one thing was clear. The score was very well done, and that would be for Joker. That's what we locked in with.
Locked in very quickly, and the correct answer is Joker.
Well, Neil knew the answer to that question, and he got what he deserved.
10 points.
Yeah, he also won the Emmy for Best Original Score for Chernobyl, so it was a pretty good year for Hildur.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to do something I never do, is just drop a fun fact here.
Okay.
Which I found out on Jeopardy is Iceland is introducing gender-neutral last name suffixes now, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's Burr, I believe.
Daughter.
Yeah, instead of son or daughter, it'll be Burr.
That's very cool.
Jeff, how are we looking after one round here? I think it's pretty close still.
It is pretty close. It was actually 40-40 going into question 10, but with that last one, you guys pulled ahead. It is 50 for Team Solo and Team Entry with 40.
Awesome. And I do want to say Sarah originally reached out, I believe, on Twitter, or we saw that you mentioned us in an article or in an interview, which was really awesome. So if you'd like to interact with us on social media, you can go to @TrivialityPod on Instagram or Twitter. We also have a private Discord now if you like a non-Facebook option. But Sarah, was that right? I think you first hit us up on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
So it worked out. So Sarah said hi on Twitter, and now she's on the show and probably going to beat us today. So it all works out. Adam,
that vote of confidence.
There you go. Adam, what do you have in store for us with the swing round today?
So for the swing round, I've got a swing round about Jokers.
Ooh. Now, do we have to answer these questions dancing down a flight of stairs?
No, that's not necessary. I mean, it'll make a great visual, which is always good for podcasts. But yeah, optional.
All right.
Question number 1. The name of the playing card, the Joker, gets its name from the German word for what card game? Question number 2. What critically panned 1996 film starring John Cryer takes its title from a nonsensical lyric from the Steve Miller Band song The Joker? Question number 3. Joker and the Thief is a 2006 single and film soundtrack staple by what Australian band? Question number 4. The Joker is a nickname for what Serbian tennis pro currently ranked number 1 in the world by the ATP? Question number 5. Matthew Modine stars as Private J.T. Joker Davis in what 1987 Stanley Kubrick film? Question number 6. The Joker is a steel roller coaster found at the Texas, New England, Great Adventure, and Great America locations of what amusement park? Question number 7. The TV game show The Joker's Wild had a 2017 revival on TBS hosted by what hip-hop star? Question number 8. Joker Marchant Stadium in Lakeland, Florida is the spring training home of what Major League Baseball team? Question number 9. From 1982 to 1993, Dick Clark hosted TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes alongside what longtime TV sidekick and pitchman? Question number 10 for your dancing pleasure. The famous Joker stairs, as seen in the 2019 film Joker, connect Shakespeare and Anderson Avenues at West 167th Street in what New York City borough?
All right, as we consider these, let us listen to the sweet and soothing sounds of entry. All right, we are back. I hope you enjoyed that music from Entry, and we have our answers. So let's get the questions one more time, please.
Question number 1. The name of the playing card The Joker gets its name from the German word for what card game?
Yeah, I believe they mentioned this on the episode of Misinformation where they talked about this game, and we locked in with euchre.
Yeah, I didn't know. We had no idea. We just said the German game Skat, which I know uses a Joker.
The German word is Euchrespiel. Correct answer is euchre. Question number 2. What critically panned 1996 film starring John Cryer takes its title from a nonsensical lyric from the Steve Miller Band song The Joker?
I originally thought this was the Pamplemousse of Love, but Neal corrected me.
By LaCroix.
Yep, we locked in with the Pompatus of Love.
Oh boy, we are not doing well. Just named a 96 movie that was critically panned and said Mars Attacks.
Correct answer is the Pompatus of Love. Question number 3. Joker and the Thief is a 2006 single and film soundtrack staple by what Australian band?
Pretty sure this is Wolfmother.
Yeah, I'm also pretty sure it's Wolfmother, but we didn't know that, so we said In Excess.
Correct answer is Wolfmother. Question number 4. The Joker is a nickname for what Serbian tennis pro currently ranked number 1 in the world by the ATP?
For some reason, my brain would not give me the first name, but I believe it is Djokovic. That's what we locked in with.
Yeah, so thank you for throwing me a sports bone there, and we also locked in with Djokovic.
Correct answer is Novak Djokovic. Yep. Question number 5. Matthew Modine stars as Private J.T. Joker Davis in what 1987 Stanley Kubrick film?
Yep, we were sure this is Full Metal Jacket.
That sounds right. So we said Apocalypse Now.
I believe that was 79.
Yeah, I think that's 79, and that's Francis Ford Coppola.
Yep.
Not Kubrick. Yeah, it is indeed Full Metal Jacket.
The horror.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Sarah is just doing the 1,000-yard stare to Matt right now in anger.
Listen, it's early here, okay?
It's early day. Question number 6. The Joker is a steel roller coaster found at the Texas, New England, Great Adventure, and Great America locations of what amusement park?
Luckily, one of these is nearby us, so we said Six Flags.
Sarah, what did we say for this one?
I believe Six Flags.
Hey.
Needs legs. Question number 7. The TV game show The Joker's Wild had a 2017 revival on TBS hosted by what hip-hop star?
Yep, we went with SNOOPDOGG, Snoop Dogg.
We went with Ladies Love Cool Jokers. Cool J.
Jokers, but correct answer is indeed Snoop Dogg. Question number 8. Joker Marchant Stadium in Lakeland, Florida is the spring training home of what Major League Baseball team?
Finally, we had no idea on this one, so we guessed a team from your home state, and we said the Pirates.
We continued to have no idea on this one as well, and we went with the Yankees.
My Pirates play in Bradenton, Florida. This is the Detroit Tigers.
Oh, okay.
Question number 9. From 1982 to 1993, Dick Clark hosted TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes alongside what longtime TV sidekick and pitchman?
When thinking of sidekicks during that era, we thought there was none more famous than Ed McMahon.
I originally thought it was Baby Ryan Seacrest, but Sarah, what did we say?
Ed McMahon.
Correct answer is indeed Ed McMahon. And question 10, the famous Joker stairs, as seen in the 2019 film Joker, connect Shakespeare and Anderson Avenues at West 167th Street in what New York City borough?
There were some great stories about this. People would go to take their picture on the long staircase and try and reenact from the movie, but people from this neighborhood didn't like that, so they would throw things at them and yell at them to get off their staircase, and we went with the Bronx.
That seems like a Bronx move, and we did lock in with the Bronx.
Correct answer is the Bronx.
All right, and after the swing round, both teams did add to their scores. Entry added 20, bringing their score up to 60, but the real winner of today's swing round, Team Solo, adding 45, bringing their score to 95.
Very nice.
All right, that was much thanks to Neal. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it was right in my wheelhouse. It was great questions that I was actually able to answer, so it made me feel good.
Round 2, question number 1. In December of 2020, an 81-year-old British man named William Shakespeare was the second person in the world to do what?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. All right. We are going to lock in over here.
Ooh, do you know this one?
I don't. That didn't hit my radar at all.
So it definitely did because it blew up on Twitter because obviously it's funny that a man named William Shakespeare did something. I can't remember. So what would be happening in December of 2020? You know what? Would it be potentially would there be vaccines at that time? Do you think he might have been the second person to get the COVID vaccine?
You know what? It's possible because they got it first in Britain.
Yeah. You want to lock in with that?
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're locking in with the COVID vaccine.
Yes. So we had a very similar conversation, and we thought that if he was the second person to achieve something, maybe along with the first person, that they would be two gentlemen of Corona. So we also said the COVID vaccine.
And you are both correct. He was the second person to receive the COVID vaccine. Question number 2. One of the first celebrities to die of COVID-19 was Cameroonian Afrobeat star Manu Dibango. His 1972 single Soul Makossa was a number 35 hit in the U.S., but gained more attention and sparked a large lawsuit when it was borrowed in a 1983 top 10 single by what American artist?
I think it might. My first thought was potentially Blondie, because I noticed she kind of like took from hip hop and that kind of culture. It's possible that I think she might have been sued, but that might have been later too. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm blank.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I don't think that this was a Debbie Gibson song. I don't know. My 80s is like anything in the 80s could have happened at any time in the 80s for me. I have no idea. Yeah. So do you want to just lock in with Blondie?
Sure. That's fine.
Okay. Locked in.
It's funny Matt's talking about Debbie Gibson because when we worked together and there was blended drinks, he would always sing Shake Your Love when he was making the shakes. Ken and I had talked, there's probably a more obvious answer than this, but we know that, Rick James, a lot of his songs seem to be samples. So we went with Rick James.
Rick James, a good thought. This is Michael Jackson. This is the end bit from "Wanna Be Starting Something," the "Mama Say Mama Sa Mama Sa" thing.
I think Jeff knew that one. Maybe he's kind of nodding right now. So
yeah, so that's "Soul Makosa" by Manu Dibango, which made him probably more money than he made from his own recording. Question number 3. Michael Jackson was born in Gary, Indiana. The area surrounding Gary is one of 2 parts of Indiana in the Central Time Zone. The other is an area in the southwest corner of the state surrounding what 3rd largest Indiana city?
Okay. All right. We'll lock in.
All right. So what do you know about cities in Indiana?
I think the extra people might be for college.
Yeah, possibly. bunch of Irishmen, probably. Large Irish population. So I think Indianapolis is number 1, right?
Yeah. And I think Bloomington would be up there probably.
Yeah. So, and then South Bend is the one that he's talking about.
Right.
What
is was it, you said southwest?
Yeah, southwest corner.
I don't know. I would maybe say Bloomington. I hate Indiana. I've been there too many times.
No
but
comment.
The geography of it, I'm not sure. But I feel like South Bend is in the northeast. Am I wrong?
Because it's kind of Chicago's college town, so they kind of take it as their school. So I think it's got to be closer to Chicago. So you said Bloomington. That's interesting.
I would just go maybe Bloomington, but there could be something I'm missing.
Yeah, that's fine. And then I know Hammond's really big, but I don't think it's bigger than any of those.
What about Muncie? Favorite vacationing spot of Jerry Gergich.
I've been there also.
That's where you can buy a lot of fireworks, I believe. They got a bunch of fireworks factories. So shout out to our Indiana listeners who are probably like, what the hell are you guys talking about? We'll lock in with Bloomington then.
All right. We had a similar discussion. We have some family in Valparaiso, which I think is a pretty big town, but I don't believe it is far enough from Chicago to actually, no, it is. It does have a different time zone. Anyway, I just took a clue from his question of the Southwest and thought maybe that goes into South Bend where Notre Dame is. So we locked in with South Bend.
Unfortunately, it's not either of the college towns. This is just an Indiana town that has people because it's an Indiana town that has people. 3rd largest city in Indiana is Evansville.
Oh.
Number 2, by the way, is Fort Wayne.
Oh, I forgot about Fort Wayne.
No one even said Fort Wayne.
Yeah, it's bigger than you think, Fort Wayne. Question number 4. Chris Evans is best known for portraying Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. But his first Marvel role was as what character in the 2005 film Fantastic Four?
We can lock in over here.
I think he was just Mr. Fantastic. I think that's his name, right, in the movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie since it came out.
Well, there's rumors that somebody might be playing him in a Marvel Cinematic TV show that I won't give spoilers for. So I think it's Reed Richards is the name of the character. I think that's the main guy from Fantastic Four. Do you want to lock in with that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say Reed Richards.
I think Reed Richards is a little bit older character.
Yeah, I think they stretched themselves a little too thin on that guess. This one, his name's funny because his character name is one type of phenomena.
Potential superpower, but his actual powers have nothing to do with a storm. But we locked in with the Human Torch or Johnny Storm.
And the correct answer is the Human Torch, a.k.a. Johnny Storm.
Now, if it was a storm of fire, that's pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
Question number 5. The Olympic torch relay is something that's meant to feel like an ancient tradition, but it's not. The relay was first created for the 1936 Summer Olympics in what city?
Do you know?
I have a good guess.
Okay, so my initial thought was that this is potentially the Olympic Games, where Jesse Owens beat the German sprinters. And I think that was in Germany.
Jesse Owens fought Hitler, right?
Yeah, he punched him square in the face.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Very good.
Even though he had the home field advantage. I think that was in Munich, wasn't it? Does that sound right? Or am I thinking of the movie Munich?
Well, you've planted it in my head, so now it sounds right.
That in Munich.
Yeah. I have Stockholm syndrome and thinking it's Munich. I guess we'll lock in with that. Munich, sound good? It might be Berlin, but whatever.
We had a discussion. We couldn't remember if it was the 32 Olympics or 36 Olympics that took place in Berlin with had all the sort of political ramifications. But we couldn't come up with something better. Ken did say Greece. Just want to put that out there because it very possibly could be that. But we actually just went with Berlin.
And unlike the movie Munich, which is set in Munich, correct answer here is Berlin.
Dang it.
Yeah, I think we said the Munich Olympics were the 70s.
72, I believe.
All right, so after 5 in the second round, we've got Team Entry adding 10 to their score, bringing them up to 70 points. And Team Solo adding another 30 for 125.
Question number 6. In 1963, John F. Kennedy famously said, "Ich bin ein Berliner." An urban legend about this speech is that locals thought he was referring to himself as a Berliner Pfannkuchen, a variety of what food product?
I know in German there's like 20 different words that mean this, so...
Yeah, that's a good joke. I like that.
Okay. It's not really a joke.
Well, I mean, if he did it on purpose, it would be a good joke. We'll lock in.
Word Pfannkuchen in the chat.
So I think they're leaning sausage. It sounds like it's there's a lot of German words for that, right? It's big. What do you know about German food?
Oh, don't eat too much German food.
Yeah.
Nothing against them.
There is a Wiener Schnitzel down here.
There's one like a block from me now.
Yeah, it's a big chain out here. So what do they serve? That doesn't help. Corn dogs. What's? Do you wanna just lock in with sausage?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like, isn't that like a worst is usually?
Yeah.
Like a.
But I don't know what the other things mean.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, let's keep that train rolling and lock in with sausage.
We guessed sausage.
I feel like several pounds of my weight in quarantine have come from this.
Well, the joke, the urban legend about the JFK Ich bin ein Berliner speech is that he was referring to himself as a jelly donut.
Mm.
You did say it now that it rings a bell. Yeah.
Question number 7. In geometry, a three-dimensional surface that one could refer to as being donut-shaped is known by what mathematical term?
I'll tell you what, Ken. All I know about donuts is I had one for a long time after a procedure, but I couldn't tell you the answer to this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you had your buttock implants?
That is correct. I had abs of steel already. I needed buttocks of titanium.
I can't remember the name of this.
I have absolutely no idea. Geometry.
Right, we'll lock in with something bad.
Okay.
So I know. I mean, I had to take a lot of math for my major, but not a lot of geometry, unfortunately.
Doesn't factor into economics too much.
You usually don't have to find the area of this thing to find out the root cause of capitalism or whatever I was supposed to be studying. Or prism's like a triangle, isn't it?
Yeah, prism's a triangle.
What would be a round prism?
A tube.
Oh my god.
Tube. Oh geez.
Tube sphere. I don't know.
I love it. Tube sphere.
I don't know.
Matt,
sounds like a thing.
Is that what you're locking in with?
Yeah, sure.
Matt, it's a Pokémon.
No.
It is.
All right, well, we said
Okay.
Mobius, which is wrong, but what is it, Jeff?
I believe it's a Taurus.
Oh,
Correct answer is Taurus, Taurus.
what's that spelled the same?
What's a
I'm
Mobius?
positive I never learned that.
What's a Mobius again? Is that the type of manscaping Jeff does?
Completely bare.
Mobius is the one-sided strip that it makes a half twist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeff's manscaping is a Mobius strip.
Oh my God.
Question number 8. What's your sign? Tina Fey is a Taurus. What is the title of her 2011 memoir, a personality trait that is so very Taurus?
We are locked in over here.
All right. Well, I wasn't too much of a help, but Sarah seemed to know this one. So what were you thinking?
I said bossy pants.
That sounded familiar, so we locked in.
So I knew Amy Poehler's was Yes Please. And as far as Tina Fey, I knew it had something to do with boss and that she was wearing a tie and I think she had like a man's hands or something. And we kept going between lady boss and boss lady and we ended up just locking in with lady boss.
And Sarah is correct. Correct answer is bossy pants.
Good job. Shouldn't have been watching Boss Baby on repeat this week. Really threw me off.
Question 9. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-stars Amber Tamblyn and America Ferrera were among the founders of what advocacy movement and legal defense fund launched in 2018 by numerous Hollywood women in response to the Me Too movement?
All right, you guys are locked in. I wasn't too sure. Sarah, you think you remember this one?
I said Time's Up.
Mm-hmm. And then I said we still have a few more minutes. So what was your answer? We locked in with Time's Up.
Okay. We are definitely familiar with the phrase Time's Up, but we weren't sure if that was the legal fund or not. So we said the We Believe Fund, just as a guess.
And again, Sarah is correct. Correct answer is Time's Up.
Nice job.
Right.
I didn't realize that was the name of the organization.
Yep.
I thought that was just kind of a
They wore
slogan.
black at the Oscars. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And question number 10, last question of the round. To a trivia nerd, few things mean that time's up more than those last few notes of the Think music from Jeopardy. Originally titled A Time for Tony, the tune earned what composer, best known for creations of a different kind, an estimated $100 million?
We are locked in over here.
Okay. And Sarah, you said you had just read this in Alex Trebek's book, right?
Yes, but
Yeah, so I was pretty sure it was Merv Griffin, and then that sounded familiar to Sarah, so we locked in with Merv Griffin.
Yeah, we considered different musicians, but we really stuck with that hint that his creations were of a different kind, and we also said Merv Griffin.
Yeah, better known for creating the show than for creating the music for the show. Tony was his son. He wrote it as a lullaby for his son. Correct answer is Merv Griffin.
That's a cool fact.
Yeah, that would be a nice lullaby.
It's a tense lullaby, I think.
Just waiting for the...
It was originally written in a minor key.
You should hear it in its original Lydian.
Ooh.
Yeah, the baby could only go to sleep if it answered a correct question as the time expired. Jeff, how are our scores looking?
Scores are looking pretty good. Team Entry picking up 30 in that second half there, moving their score all the way up to 100. And Team Solo only added 10. They will remain in the lead at 135.
What are those final round categories, Adam?
So our final round categories. Question number 1 category is The Merv Griffin Show. Question number 2 category is Reach for the Stars. Question number 3 category is Jeopardy. Question number 4, the category is Wheel of Fortune. And question number 5, the category is Monopoly. And those are all shows starring or created by Merv.
All of the wagers are locked in, so let's hear those questions.
Question number 1 category is The Merv Griffin Show. Merv Griffin's announcer and sidekick on The Merv Griffin Show was what veteran British character actor? In the 1930s, he starred as the iconic butler Jeeves in a series of films and opposite Shirley Temple in the film Heidi. But to my own generation, he's probably best known as the namesake of a chain of fast food fish and chips restaurants. Question number 2 category is Reach for the Stars. In 2020, Andrea Ghez became the 4th woman to win the Nobel Prize in Physics for her work on what celestial objects? Question number 3, category is Jeopardy. The double jeopardy clause, which says, "Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb," is part of which amendment to the U.S. Constitution? Question number 4, category is Wheel of Fortune. In a traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, the Wheel of Fortune card shows a golden wheel in the sky, topped by what partly human mythological creature? Question 5, category is Monopoly. In 2006, Hasbro published the Monopoly US Here and Now edition. In this edition, the 4 railroads are replaced by 4 airports. They are LAX, O'Hare, JFK, and which 4th airport, which has been the busiest airport in the world for passenger travel since 1998?
Okay, we'll consider the answers to those questions as we listen to One Wayness.
All right, and now that all of the answers are locked in, we can get on to the final round answers. But first, I would be remiss if I didn't remind everyone out there that we have a Patreon where you can support our show directly, patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. A lot of great perks, including bonus episodes and other things there for you to check out. We are very grateful to all of our patrons. They are the ones who have allowed us to really build the show, make it what it is, and we are very proud of that and very thankful for that. So,
Yeah, you have some recording equipment sitting in front of you right now that we're excited to employ.
yeah, hopefully our sound will be getting just a little bit better in the coming episodes as we test out some new equipment we are finally able to get, and we're really looking forward to that.
Thanks to the Patreon supporters. All right, let's get the questions one more time. I believe both teams wagered 20s all the way down, right?
That is correct.
All right, so it's all down to this.
Question number 1 category was the Merv Griffin Show. Merv Griffin's announcer and sidekick on the Merv Griffin Show was what veteran British character actor? In the 1930s, he starred as the iconic butler Jeeves in a series of films and opposite Shirley Temple in the film Heidi. But to my own generation, he's probably best known as the namesake of a chain of fast food fish and chips restaurants.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure on who this was. I couldn't really pull the name. I'm familiar with his background, but we just went the fish and chips angle and figured maybe it's John Silver.
I thought that I heard something about this guy playing Jeeves for a long time British actor, and we just locked in with Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry did indeed play Jeeves, but it was not in the 1930s. Stephen Fry still alive. Sarah, you actually
Sorry,
said
Stephen Fry.
You actually said this
No.
joke while you guys were discussing this. Of fish and chips fame, this is Arthur Treacher.
Oh.
Ooh.
Of Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips.
I don't know that establishment.
I will force you next time to choose my joke answer.
There you go.
Question number 2, category is Reach for the Stars. In 2020, Andrea Ghez became the 4th woman to win the Nobel Prize in Physics for her work on what celestial objects?
I believe this is the lady who was able to photograph a black hole, right? So we're going to go with black hole.
And I think, Sarah, you knew this one. So what did we say?
We said black hole.
And you were both correct. She was the lady who was able to photograph the black holes. This is black holes. Question number 3, category is Jeopardy. The double jeopardy clause, which says, "Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb," it's part of what amendment to the U.S. Constitution?
We tried to pull from our knowledge of the Ashley Judd film. It didn't really help. And We knew that fifth was, pleading the fifth, and we couldn't decide if it was 4, 6, or 7. For some reason, our guts were pulling us towards 6, so that is what we locked in with.
Yeah, we think that this is actually also part of the Fifth Amendment.
And Matt, you are correct. This is the second half of the Fifth Amendment.
And now you can't ask that question again.
I see what you did there. Question number 4, category is Wheel of Fortune. In a traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, the Wheel of Fortune card shows a golden wheel in the sky topped by what partly human mythological creature?
All right, so I was trying to come at this from a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure standpoint, since all the characters have powers based on tarot cards. I couldn't remember what this character did, so I wasn't able to get it that way. So we just thought about what would look good on the card, and we said mermaid.
Oh, that's a good guess. I don't know. We literally couldn't think of the names of any of these kind of things outside of centaur, so we just locked in with centaur.
Well, it is a golden wheel in the sky with a sphinx on top.
That actually makes a lot of sense in retrospect.
And question number 5, category is Monopoly. In 2006, Hasbro published the Monopoly US Here and Now edition. In this edition, the 4 railroads are replaced by 4 airports. They are LAX, O'Hare, JFK, and which 4th airport, which has been the busiest airport in the world for passenger travel since 1998?
I wasn't too sure the Monopoly angle, but I have been reading a bunch about airports the last year, and I know that Atlanta is very, very high up there, if not the busiest, overtaking O'Hare. So we locked in with Atlanta.
Yeah, Sarah, I think you knew this one.
And we also said Atlanta.
And Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson is correct.
All right, and with that final round, getting 20 points taken away from their score, dropping to 115. That's Team Solo. But this week's cream of the crop, they actually just edged out with 120 points. Team Entry, your winner today.
All right, I'm doing the living in a nightmare clip.
Yeah, I know. I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream.
Great game.
Great game, everybody.
I've learned I need to watch a lot of movies. I don't think I've seen enough.
It always helps.
There's plenty of these movies that I haven't seen either. I just read about them on Wikipedia, which is really all you need to know to write or answer a trivia question about.
Exactly. Sometimes movies can be a great inroad to things that you don't know anything about. That's usually what I fall back on. Sarah, thank you for joining us today, and also for giving us a good beating here in this game. We were close, but you definitely came out victorious. Why don't you tell us any shout-outs or any plugs for your band, anything you'd like to talk about before we let you go?
I'm going to shout out my trivia team from last year, Catherine Bigelow, Female Gigolo. And if you want to check out my band, you can find us at entrysl.bandcamp.com. And just thanks for having me. This was really, really fun.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, we appreciate you reaching out in the first place, and happy to meet you. And this game wouldn't have been as fun if it wasn't for the wonderful questions, and that falls on Adam's shoulders. Thank you for joining us today. Any last shout-outs from you?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'll give a shout out to my weekly Sunday night streaming show, which is called Social Distancing Variety Hour. We talk to artists and musicians and activists and politicians about all sorts of topics, sometimes live performances. You can check that out, facebook.com/social distancing variety hour. It's live Sunday nights on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Archives on YouTube. So do check that out. And thank you guys for having me.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Adam. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us today. For Jeff, Ken, Matt, Sarah, Adam, and myself, my name is Neal, and that was Triviality. Great questions that I was actually able to answer, so it made me feel good.
That's what we're here for, to make Neal feel good.
That's right.
That's why he made us make this podcast.
Yeah, right.